The legend, isn't he? So if he retires now, he who knows, he might come back for another big payday or with AJ or something, but he's earned it. He's a legend in my opinion.
Listen, he was unbelievable. He was on form today. He boxed great. He did the right things. He was counter-punching and he was moving well and he wasn't getting caught. And he started off with a jab, so what can you say?
The performance from Oleksandr Usyk, you know, he stopped the fight early, you know, but I say this before, Daniel Dubois makes so much pressure, too much pressure, you know, he not control, and every jab, every right hand is too strong.
He was moving, but when he found the time to be aggressive, he took and back.
Daniel Dubois recently admitted just how terrifyingly good Oleksandr Usyk really is, and that revelation speaks volumes. You could see it not only in his words, but in the look on his face. The fear, the respect, and the sheer helplessness were etched into his expression, telling a story no post-fight statement could hide. Usyk didn't just beat Dubois, he dismantled him mentally and physically. When your opponent openly praises you after
On the performance, I gave everything I had. It just wasn't, probably a few things I could have sharpened up on, but you take no credit away from them.
After a knockout defeat, it becomes the clearest sign of just how elite, how dominant, and how frightening your performance truly was. Usyk left Dubois with nothing but admiration, a statement of power and supremacy the Ukrainian champion can add to his ever-growing legacy. Dubois had talked a big game before their clash. He claimed he possessed the tools, the firepower, and the physical advantages to dethrone the seemingly unstoppable Usyk.
Parker's deserved his shot. I think Parker should get a world title fight regardless, even if Usyk vacates the belts.
Hands off. Usyk fought like a heavyweight, not a cruiserweight in there tonight.
Yeah, no, he did. He stood on business, man. He stood on business and he said he was going to knock the bar out, and he done exactly that.
He came to fight, not to box.
Yeah, no, for real, but you could see it all fight week. You could see it all fight week in his eyes and in his persona as well.
How good is Usyk?
But all that confidence unraveled once the bell rang. Usyk wasn't there to box pretty or coast on points. He came in to destroy. From the intense, piercing stare he carried during fight week to the clinical, ruthless finish he delivered under the lights, everything Usyk did screamed purpose. Dubois' pre-fight proclamations faded into the background the moment Usyk began backing up his words with actions. A vicious, calculated execution.
To sleep because he's troubling his mind because he knows he's cheated and lied.
And do you think that will continue to stay the way?
Most definitely, because if he's a true believer, not just for show, saying God, Jesus, God, if he's a true believer, he has to repent.
Execution that left no room for debate. The loss hit hard, and it didn't take long for the blame game to start. Don Charles, Dubois' trainer, was clearly rattled. In the days following the fight, Charles threw out wild claims, even suggesting Usyk's victory carried the weight of lies and guilt. But such statements ring hollow. Dubois had his shot, a chance to prove himself at the pinnacle of the heavyweight division, and he folded under the relentless pressure of a champion who simply operates on a different level. Attempting to spin the loss into a moral debate does nothing to change the reality.
Was under pressure in the first round because Dubois comes out fast like he did against AJ, and if he catches you, you're in trouble. And I think just after that, he just decided basically, I'm not going to go on the back foot anymore. I'm going to take the fight to Dubois. And he just kind of beat him up and obviously stops him. I mean, he's beaten AJ twice, Fury twice, Dubois twice.
Reality that Dubois was outclassed. In fact, it only highlights the frustration and embarrassment that filled Dubois' corner. Eddie Hearn, a man who rarely sugarcoats reality, provided a much more honest breakdown. He acknowledged that Usyk faced some early heat from Dubois, particularly in the first round, but his analysis made one thing clear: Usyk didn't flinch. He flipped the script with the ice-cold composure of a man who has seen and conquered every possible style. While Dubois came out swinging, attempting to overwhelm him with power and size, Usyk remained patient. He marched forward with calm intent, took control of the tempo, and began breaking Dubois down piece by piece. It was the same signature approach that had previously allowed Usyk to defeat Anthony Joshua twice, outclassed Tyson Fury, and now dismantled Dubois not once, but twice. That's legacy building. What Dubois considered a threat, Usyk treated as routine. There are levels to this game, and Usyk is clearly operating at the very top. Martin Bakole saw it coming long before the first punch was thrown. Bakole confidently predicted Dubois.
Congratulations to Usyk. Amazing. No one was expecting that. But I said it before the fight. I said Dubois will get knocked out around 4 or 5. He will never pass 5 rounds. So because I said it, if he wanted to keep the same style that he fought with Usyk will knock him out easy. But if he changed some couple of stuff, he would done well. But no, sorry to him, and it happened to happened today. One punch in heavyweight can change.
Dubois wouldn't survive past the 5th round, and Usyk made that prophecy a reality with surgical brutality. But Bakole didn't simply predict the outcome. He exposed the flaws in Dubois' game for everyone to see. He highlighted the lack of adaptability, the predictable offensive patterns, and the defensive lapses that would leave Dubois vulnerable. Dubois unfortunately ignored the warning signs. He repeated the same tired habits, and Usyk exploited them with precision. This wasn't just about one big shot ending the fight. It was about preparation, awareness, and execution. Usyk made it look easy because Dubois made no adjustments. While Usyk evolved throughout the bout, Dubois remained stagnant, hoping his size and power alone would eventually break through. But hope isn't a strategy, certainly not against a fighter like Usyk. When Bakole says one punch can change everything, he's right. But that kind of punch doesn't happen by chance. It's earned through superior timing, control, and a deep understanding of your opponent's movements. Usyk had all of that in abundance. Dubois? He had little more than...
He was unbelievable. He was on form today. He boxed great. He did the right things. He was counter-punching, and he was moving well, and he wasn't getting caught. And he started off with a jab, so what can you say?
Blind faith, and that was never going to be enough against a fighter who thrives in adversity and chaos. Lennox Lewis, one of the greatest heavyweights in history, was left genuinely stunned by Usyk's performance. When a legend of Lewis's stature says you were unbelievable, it's not casual praise, it's respect earned through blood, sweat, and mastery. Usyk didn't just win, he delivered a masterclass so complete that it forced Lewis to step back and admire the sheer brilliance of it all. His footwork was untouchable, gliding around the ring with purpose and precision. His jab was sharp as a needle, disrupting Dubois' rhythm and preventing him from establishing any offensive flow. And his counterpunching was surgical, making Dubois swing at shadows as Usyk stayed 2 moves ahead. Lennox knows greatness when he sees it, and Usyk checked every box. This wasn't just another victory, it was a blueprint on how to dismantle a bigger man with superior IQ, relentless movement, and ruthless timing. While Dubois appeared lost and plotting, Usyk moved with the conviction of a man possessed by purpose. Lewis has fought elite heavyweights and understands how...
Best heavyweight there is currently, and I don't see anybody beating him.
Is he as good as Muhammad Ali? It's not a crazy thing to say, I don't think, at this point.
The thing is, you can't really do the comparisons, do you know what I mean? But I do think he's one of the best currently now to do it.
Who do you want to see Usyk fight next, or just sail off?
He can sail off into the sunset, and he's done everything. Do you know what I mean? He's phenomenal fighter, man. You're watching him, I'm just watching him, I'm going, oh my God. Like, that's God-given talent.
How rare it is to see such complete control at the top level. That's why his reaction carried so much weight. This wasn't merely a good performance, it was a generational display of skill and dominance. Conor Benn has now raised the bar even higher with his own comparison, and it's a statement that has the entire boxing world buzzing. Ben didn't hesitate to call Usyk the best heavyweight alive today. He even went so far as to liken Usyk to one of boxing's most sacred names, Muhammad Ali. That kind of comparison might have sounded outrageous not long ago, but after everything Usyk has accomplished, it's hard to dismiss. Think about it. Usyk has conquered 2 weight divisions, beaten unified champions, dismantled top contenders, and never once looked out of his depth. That isn't luck, that's greatness. While other fighters crumble under the weight of expectation, Usyk thrives. He embraces the chaos, navigates the storm, and somehow elevates his performance with every challenge. Dubois had size, youth, and power on his side, yet Usyk's mind, his ability to think like a general and execute...
He's a phenomenal fighter, phenomenal athlete. To move up in weight, to become undisputed at cruiserweight, undisputed at heavyweight, that speaks of his talent. You know, you can't fake that, you can't make...
Like a warrior was the true difference. Ben sees the writing on the wall. In an era filled with hype, marketing, and excuses, Usyk is the one heavyweight who consistently shows up, delivers, and raises the standard of what championship boxing should look like. You don't get Ali-level respect without doing something extraordinary, and Usyk is doing it fight after fight. Then came the most stinging assessment of all, from Dubois' own sister, Caroline Dubois. She didn't hold back, and the irony couldn't be sharper. Caroline wasn't just praising Usyk, she was indirectly calling out her brother's shortcomings. When she said, "You can't fake that," it was a not-so-subtle jab at Daniel's lack of adaptability and championship pedigree. Usyk has climbed through weight divisions, faced the very best, and dominated without taking shortcuts. Meanwhile, Daniel has repeatedly crumbled in the sport's biggest moments. Caroline's words were brutally honest because talent doesn't lie. When preparation meets opportunity, legends are born. Usyk's journey from cruiserweight king to heavy...
He's the best of our generation by far, he has to be. He's beat everybody, he's literally beat everybody. You could say he's not beat Wilder, you could say a Thomas still to come, Parker. He's beat everybody. Daniel Dubois, for me, Daniel Dubois was poor tonight. I know we're not getting onto that yet, but he was poor tonight. But he's beat Fury twice, he's beat Joshua twice, he mopped up at cruiserweight. He's done it all. Yeah, there's nothing really much else to add.
Heavyweight monster is proof of that. It's everything Daniel has failed to become, and she knows it. The contrast between Caroline's calm admiration for Usyk and the visible frustration in Daniel's corner speaks volumes. Respect in this sport isn't given, it's earned, and Usyk keeps proving time and again why his name belongs among the all-time greats. But the critiques didn't stop there. Dave Allen, never one to mince words, weighed in with his own assessment. He praised Usyk's performance and simultaneously dismantled Dubois' showing in one breath. Calling Usyk the best fighter of this generation isn't hyperbole. He has cleaned out cruiserweight, taken on heavyweight elites, and made fighters like Dubois look utterly outclassed. Allen didn't sugarcoat Daniel's performance either. Poor, he said. Not unlucky, not robbed, just poor. And he's right. There was no sense of urgency, no effective strategy, and certainly no answer to Usyk's brilliance. Dubois entered the ring with everything to prove and instead delivered a lifeless, uninspired performance against a man already etching his name into history. Allen's respect for Usyk is rooted in his own experiences in the sport. He knows how difficult...
Before the fight, even today, before today, that Daniel Dubois never passed 5 rounds if he kept boxing like the same way he boxed last time he fought Usyk. But he did the same. There was no jab, nothing changed. He deserved the knockout because he never changed something like
it is to succeed at the highest level, yet Usyk continues to make it look effortless. It's rare to see a fighter so universally praised by his peers, but Usyk is forcing even the staunchest critics to admit he's simply built differently. Martin Bakole didn't just troll Dubois in the aftermath, he buried him. This was personal, calculated, and brutally honest. Bakole had laid out the blueprint before the fight, and Dubois walked straight into disaster like a man sleepwalking off a cliff. No jab, no meaningful adjustments, no answers. Just the same predictable flaws that Usyk dismantled with ease. Bakole's final shot was as raw as it gets. He said Dubois deserved the knockout. You could feel the disgust in his voice, like he couldn't believe how little Daniel did to evolve for the biggest fight of his career. Usyk, on the other hand, did what legends do. He adapted, adjusted, and dominated. While Dubois looked confused, Usyk looked like a master chess player, always 3 moves ahead. Bakole's praise for Usyk goes beyond admiration. It borders on fear. When a fighter like Bakole, known for his brutal honesty, calls you a machine, it's real. This isn't hype or promotional talk. It's respect from a fellow heavyweight who understands just how difficult it is to remember.
It's the best for right now. For this moment now is the best. Retire or keep fighting. He done well, he done amazing. This guy is a machine. So it's the best right now, to be honest. So is still undefeated. Nobody
remain undefeated, especially at this level. Bakole's tone says it all. He doesn't know whether to applaud Usyk or warn the rest of the division to stay far away from him. Usyk didn't just survive in the heavyweight ranks, he conquered them. He did it with his mind, his feet, and his heart. Dubois looked like a statue next to him, slow, rigid, reactive, while Usyk flowed with electricity. Every movement had purpose. Every punch was calculated. No heavyweight moves like him. No one adapts like him. Bakole even suggested that Usyk has nothing left to prove, whether he retires now or continues his reign. One fact is clear, Usyk is the man at heavyweight, and no one else is close. David Adolai offered a more measured perspective. While he credited Dubois for showing heart and stepping up to face the division's best, he made it clear that Usyk once again demonstrated levels Dubois simply can't reach. Stepping in the ring with Usyk takes courage, Adolai acknowledged, but courage alone doesn't win world titles. Usyk operates on a plane most heavyweights can't even comprehend. Adolai summed it up perfectly. Credit to Usyk for pulling it off time and time again. That consistency, the ability to deliver greatness under pressure, is what separates merely good fighters.
I think Usyk keeps proving himself. He gets doubted a lot, and I think he's proven himself so many times that it's kind of crazy that people doubt him. But you got to give credit to Daniel for getting in there. He tried a thing, and more credit to Usyk for pulling it off time and time again.
From true all-time legends, Dubois may have entered with hope, but Usyk entered with control. It's almost unfair how easily he neutralized Daniel's size and power. Usyk doesn't just win, he makes top contenders look ordinary. And then Tony Bellew delivered his own insight, explaining exactly why Usyk is unbeatable, even when the odds seem stacked against him. Bellew, who once shared the ring with Usyk, knows firsthand what makes him special: adaptability. There's nobody in the sport right now who adjusts mid-career, mid-fight, or even mid-round the way Usyk does. Bellew doesn't hand out praise lightly, but he was crystal clear in his breakdown. Usyk didn't just prepare for Dubois, he reshaped his body, his pace, and his tactics specifically to exploit Daniel's weaknesses. That's not just high fight IQ, that's genius. Most fighters react. Usyk preempts. While Dubois was busy shadowboxing in denial, Usyk was studying his every flaw, ready to exploit each one. Bellew's final word seals it. There's no one left in the heavyweight division who can beat this version of Usyk. He's too smart, too technical, too committed. Dubois wasn't...
There's no one who's going to beat him. I just think technically, physically now, he's at the weight and he's adapted and he's adjusted. I mean, he's even adjusted and adapted his weight for this fight individually. I mean, he put on how much weight and slowed his actual feet down because Daniel Dubois' feet were slow.
Just outboxed, he was outthought, outprepared, and outclassed before the first bell even rang. Usyk doesn't simply win fights, he transforms for them. Duke McKenzie saw the warning signs from the opening bell. Dubois was flat, lifeless, and lacking energy. The sharpness he showed against Anthony Joshua was nowhere to be found. Against AJ, he came out aggressive, throwing stiff jabs and sending a message. Against Usyk, nothing, no jab, no rhythm, no intent. It was as if he was already defeated before the first punch landed, and that's what McKenzie was pointing to. This fight wasn't about power or tactics, it was psychological. Usyk's presence alone seemed to drain Dubois of all belief. Every movement from Daniel looked forced. Every punch lacked conviction. He was reacting, not initiating. That's not just nerves, that's fear. McKenzie's comparison to the AJ fight is damning. Dubois had fire then. Here, he had doubt. Usyk didn't need to land bombs early. He just needed to be there, his cold, unreadable expression serving as a silent message. I own this ring, and Dubois crumbled under that pressure.
Dubois, to me, in the first round, looked really tired. I don't know if it was the occasion that got to him. Obviously, Usyk got to him, but his punches had no snap on them. When Dubois fought Anthony Joshua, in the first round, he sat out his stall and he went to work straight away. Steady jab, stiff jab, big jab. He jabbed Joshua to death in the first 30 seconds. But in this fight against Usyk, the jab was pretty much non-existent.
Sure. This was more than physical domination, it was mental suffocation. Across every voice in the boxing world, one truth echoes louder than any punch. Oleksandr Usyk is untouchable right now. From his brutal jabs to his masterful footwork, Usyk exposed every weakness in Dubois' game and reminded the heavyweight division why he's a generational force. Meanwhile, Dubois now stands at a painful crossroads, haunted by a performance that lacked fire, strategy, and soul. The contrast couldn't be more glaring. Usyk evolves with every challenge. Dubois continues repeating the same costly mistakes. The gap isn't just skill, it's mentality. If this version of Usyk continues on, we might very well be witnessing the greatest heavyweight technician since Lennox Lewis himself. But if Dubois doesn't transform soon, his name could fade into the ranks of cautionary tales. One thing's clear, Usyk isn't just scary good. He's rewriting the standards of heavyweight boxing, and the rest of the division, they're running out of excuses and opponents to throw at him.